So the day kind of got away from me. You all may remember I had talked to a family member every Saturday morning. I've done it all my life, all my adult life, except when I was underway at sea. We've talked every Saturday. Oh, there's been a few occasions we haven't, but you get the idea. So he's actually moved to Italy. No, I guess he's staying there, just traveling. So he's gonna be there for a while and then move on. So the day just got away from me. Mail showed up probably 10 o'clock, 10:30. So I immediately started working on this little brush hog thing. It's getting ready to rain, I think. And he said it just needed a carburetor. Gas was leaking. So I couldn't get it to start. So I gave him a price for getting the carburetor going. Well, when I started, it just spewed smoke. So I shut it off and checked the oil, and it was over level. So what had happened is gas had siphoned into the carburetor. He said it was leaking. The carburetor was leaking. So what that means is the float valve and the needle, or the float and the needle valve, well, probably just the needle valve was leaking by. So usually that doesn't happen when you have a fuel pump, but it did in this case. So what I'm guessing has happened is he filled it up with gas and then left the nose down on the ground, which put the gas tank higher than the fuel pump. So gas was able to siphon into the carburetor, into the crank. So I changed the oil a couple times and it runs good now. Starts right up. I ran it 15 minutes with the first oil change. I ran it and then realized it was smoking, so I changed the oil, ran it for 15 minutes, and then flushed the oil out, changed that oil out, because you want to get that out of there. You don't want to run it too long. I probably ran it longer than I should have, actually. And then so I put new oil in it, ran it for another 15 minutes, and I even engaged the blades the entire time, and it just ran flawlessly. So this is up and running. He seemed pretty excited about getting it. He bought it used, he said, and he's never had it working. So he wants to get this thing running. But it was an easy fix, carburetor and oil change. It just seemed like it took a while. I guess because I ran it so much. I guess all in all, I ran it maybe 30 to 45 minutes. So, that took quite a bit of time, I guess. But as far as working on it, it wasn't hard at all. I washed it the best I could. I mean, some of it's just stained on there. Pressure washed it. Grass was all built up on the deck. So, kind of a neat machine. I couldn't ever see using it. I don't know what I would use it for. But I got the Beast, it's 50 inches. This is kind of neat. I mean, I've seen these before and always dreamt about having one. But what you do is you can adjust the bar out. So you tow this behind your lawnmower. You adjust the bar out. So this is sitting aside. So when you're behind the lawnmower, so here's the lawnmower right here. And then that is sitting over here. And you're pulling it. So you're getting two swipes with one pull. So you're getting one, you're getting 50 inches with the Beast. And whatever that is, let's call it 50 inches. I don't know what it is. So you're getting 100 inches of cutting on one pass. But this is more like a brush hog and less like a mower in this particular model, because the blades flop down. It's centrifugal force picks them back up. So they're springy. So if you hit something, where some of these are actually work like a mower with regular mower blades. So these would be neat to have if you had a field. I told you last year I sold the Beast, and the guy was brush hogging with it. Broke the belt. Can't remember what else he broke. Oh, a pin. And I ended up buying it back because he was so frustrated with it. But this is what he needed. Now the neat thing about this is if you have an ATV or four-wheeler or something, you can pull this behind your four-wheeler, because that is completely adjustable. You can slide that up and down or turn it upside down. So you can adjust it to different vehicles. Heck, you could even pull it behind your truck if you wanted to. So it runs independently. You just start it up with pull rope. Oh, I changed the rope too. I did mess with that quite a bit. I didn't think about that. Had a problem with it. And then you engage this once it's running. Ran good. So I don't know what these would go for. I never looked. So I got a message today. Guy said that he would, want to know what my hourly rate was. So I told him. He says, okay, I got a mower. I'll bring it over today. And I said, okay, good. Oh, he said, where are you located? I said, okay, good. I'm here till 4. And give him a map to where I live. Okay, I'll be there today. I guess I just have a different personality. I was talking to Carolyn about this earlier. I have a different personality. If I said I was going to be there today, first of all, I would have given a time. Like 10 o'clock, okay? Or a range of time in between 10 and 11, something like that. So and that's important because one of the jobs I have, and I've gotten a lot of business from him, the only reason he hires me, and he says this all the time, is because I'm reliable. I say what I do what I say I'm going to do. If I'm there, if I say I'm going to be there between 9 and 10, again, I always give a range because something could happen, truck doesn't start or whatever. So, other people see that reliability is important. But if it were me and I messaged someone, I said I was going to be there today, I would have started loading up the truck as soon as I could. I'd have been there within an hour or two. I've seen people call, first thing in the morning, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and they'll show up right at 4. Because I close at 4. That's at least what I tell everybody. Because that's when Carolyn and I start settling in for the evening. I mean, I might still come out here and do some work, but I don't want to take customers or anything like that. So, but I saw one guy, he showed up at 4, we had to unload, and it was 5 o'clock before we got him all on his way. So, that doesn't mean 5 o'clock, it means 4 o'clock. So be here at 3. Anyway, so I don't understand that mentality. So here it is. It's probably 2:30 now. It would be my guess, and he's still not here. So either one of two things. One, he'll show up at 4 o'clock, or even after, or he'll message me at 7 o'clock and say, "Are you still around?" Or call. And then the other thing he'll do is just won't show up, and that is really strange to me. People not showing up at all. I mean, I talked to Carolyn, and she said there's just some people who don't do time like I do time. I don't understand that. There's a lot of people who's been in the military. If you were late in the Navy, at least, life would have been over for you. But okay, so they don't do time the way I do time. They're rushing out 5 minutes before they're supposed to be to work and all that stuff. Whereas I'm there 5, 10, 15 minutes early, half an hour early. Heck, I usually worked for free. I'd get there and work for free for half an hour. So, because the boss would call you in. But the ones that really get me is they'll say, I'll be there today, and they don't show up. I've told you about this, and I'm beginning to think maybe he's I don't know. His behavior is trollish type. I mean, he's local. I know where he lives. He's gave him his address. So, anyway, this guy contacted me in May. He says, I just bought a mower, and it needs a clutch, PTO clutch. Long story, I don't want to talk about the PTO. Well, I will tell you about the PTO clutch. He says, the guy who owned it, until I bought it, said he replaced the PTO, but it needs a clutch. And I replied back, well, I don't understand that, because a PTO clutch it's one unit. It's not two different things. And so he said, well, I don't know what it means. So anyway, so I told you it was kind of silly, stupid. And so this was back in May. He says, I'll be over tomorrow. Great. So 2 or 3 days passed, and he didn't show up. And so I contacted him. He says, yeah, I got to find someone else to help me. I can't drive. I'm not legally allowed to drive. So I got to find somebody else to help me because this guy, he didn't show up. Okay, so I figured another day or two he'd have something. Nothing. I've forgotten all about him actually. So on Sunday, in August, not this last Sunday, maybe it was 2 Sundays ago. In August, he contacts me again and says, "Will you be around tomorrow, Monday? I want to bring that mower over." Yep, I'll be here. I mean, I didn't get in a conversation with him this time or anything because I already have my doubts, you know. What is it? Do me wrong 1 time, shame on you. Do me wrong 2 times, shame on me. So I wasn't going to, you know, be frustrated with him this time. I just realized, yeah, oh, whatever. I'm not going to put a lot of time and effort into this guy. So Monday rolls around, nothing. Haven't heard a word from him. Not a word. So, you know, and the thing is, if I'm not going to be there, I promise to contact you. Well, he never contacted me. Never said a word. So next time he contacts me, I'm going to say, okay, yeah, well, whatever. I really don't think I need to be polite to this guy after, you know, 2 times of him not showing up. You know, at some point you just think, okay, the guy's messing with you. I don't understand the behavior. I don't understand. I was going to take the truck to the mechanic. So on Thursday, I called and said I'd like to make an appointment. This was a while back when I was having all those troubles with that truck. And I wanted them to check it out. I wanted to just put it on the computers, all I wanted to do. So on Thursday, I called and said I'd like to make an appointment for you guys to put it on the computer. They said, okay, how about next Thursday? Great. Well, it was a holiday weekend. So I realized, oh, I know how to fix this. Or I did fix it, whatever the case is. So I decided I wanted to cancel the appointment. So I think Monday was the holiday. So I called on Monday, which they were closed. And I left a message that I wanted to get you a message as fast as possible so you could fill that time slot. I don't want to leave you hanging. I didn't just not show up or anything. I felt obligated, since I set the appointment, that I should be sure to let them know that I needed to cancel as soon as possible. I mean, dentists do it, and doctors and that kind of thing. They'll call you to make sure, and if you don't show up, they charge you. You know, that was their time. But for mechanics, I guess that's just not the case. They don't seem to think that you need. I've been watching this mechanic on YouTube, a regular mechanic, not a lawnmower mechanic, a car mechanic. And he talks a lot about customers and how customers just do all kinds of crazy things. They don't come and pick up their trucks. He was talking today that they were going to put a lien on a truck. And he was talking about something like this had happened to him in the past. They had to put a lien on a vehicle. And in that state, it was New York. He doesn't live in New York, it doesn't matter. Anyway, in New York, apparently, back then, you had to auction it off. You had to hire an auction company to auction off the machine, the piece of equipment. So they auctioned off this truck or whatever it was because the guy, after 60 days or whatever it was, didn't pick up his vehicle, didn't pay for it, didn't do anything. So they auctioned it off, and the guy showed up to the auction, the customer, the guy who owned it. So he's going to get like $2,000 in repairs for 60 or 70 bucks because nobody showed up at the auction. He was the only guy that showed up at the auction. So what the owner did of the automotive company, the repair company, he bought it for $5,000. Of course, he paid himself. I mean, that's all you got to do is just, it's your money. So he wasn't going to let that guy get that car for $60. And the guy was mad that the mechanic bid on that truck. So what he had to do was he had to relicense it or retitle it in his name because he bought it. But it really didn't cost him anything. He had a $5,000, he had a machine, a vehicle, $5,000. He could sell it for 10 or whatever he was going to do. It was his then. He bought it. So I guess he would have had to pay the auction company. But anyway, in the end, it would have made him more money than this guy who was going to give him 60 bucks. Now, a lot of states like Missouri, you get to charge all your fees. So if you have to hire a lawyer and all that stuff, you can charge all that. So you take the machine. Of course, with a lawnmower, you're not going to get that much money out of it. So, but if it was a car and it was $5,000, so you get your lawyer and all the paperwork and all the phone calls and all the filing fees, all that goes towards the car. So whatever your labor cost is, your storage fees, and then you sell it here, and then the rest of the money that you sell it for goes to the state, which I don't even understand that. How does the state have anything to do with it? I guess because if it's a house or something and a contractor goes in and does a bunch of work and then they put a lien on the house, they can take the house, they sell the house for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I guess the state doesn't think it's fair that the mechanic's gonna, or the contractor's gonna get a bunch of money, so they want the money. But it's part of the tax code. You gotta pay it. Of course, with lawnmowers, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. You know, you can easily say that you got $500 into this. You know, with all the work I did and the storage fees, you know, you can charge. Well, you can charge whatever you want to charge, but you know, even if you did $10 a day or $10 a week, it would add up pretty quick. So you get all your money back. So I guess that's it for today. So if you'll click this up next box to take the video where I was working on something on my other channel, really appreciate it if you go check it out. So hope I can inspire you to keep busy so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.